Hey everyone, it's Daniel here from InfraVest. I just want to do a quick video on an interesting article here coming out from Bloomberg. The headline basically says that Indonesia eyes sugarcane mixed biofuel to cut emissions. Now, when I scroll down, I'll leave this link in the description for you to read more on this. But it basically says Indonesia plans to sell biofuels made from a blend of sugarcane extract and oil from next year as the world's largest exporter of dirty coal seeks to reduce emissions and curb fuel imports. Now, when I scroll down a little bit more, so there's a company here in Indonesia who's looking to utilize basically sugarcane as a blend when creating fuel for their market. So going down, it says here, it is also looking into making ethanol from corn, cassava, and palm oil husks to reduce the competition for sugar producers, she said. So just reading this real quick here, it reminds me of the video I did on the food shortages. And I'll post that link in the description for you to take a look at that. So 30-minute long video, I go over on reasoning behind food shortages and prices of food moving up higher. And this is one of the many examples or many reasons of why we could see food prices continue to move up. Because simply you're taking an agriculture product like corn or sugarcane or whatnot, or cassava or palm oil husk. You're taking that and you're putting it into producing oil, into producing fuel. And when you do that, you shrink the supply. You make it more competitive, although it says here that they're trying to reduce the competition with sugar producers by utilizing other things like corn and whatnot. But it doesn't solve the problem, right? It doesn't solve the problem of food prices moving up higher, right? And don't get me wrong, I'm all for green movement, green energy and whatnot, but it comes at a very big cost. And that cost is we're going to have to intake the higher food prices when we go for our groceries, when we go to eat out or anything out there, when we're consuming food and our lives depend on it to eat, we're going to see food prices move up because you have more competition in the space utilizing these agriculture products. And so it's not farmers anymore. Now you've got the energy industry utilizing biofuels, which is why you could see food prices continue to be elevated and food prices to increase because of this, right? You're shrinking the supply. What happens when you shrink the supply? The prices go up. So on top of that, not only you have these energy companies or countries out there looking to utilize more biofuel, causing the food prices to move up, you're going to see the CPI report. You're going to see inflation reports around the world still continue to be elevated or move up higher because of decisions being made like this. Now, you may argue that, hey, this is a green energy movement. It's, makes the environment better. On top of that, we already have some shortages and issue with energy prices, right? Energy prices are skyrocketing. You're seeing fuel at high elevated prices. You're seeing crude oil at elevated prices as well. So what's the big fuss, right? And again, like I said, it's not, I'm not saying that, I'm not for green energy and green movement, but this is fueling even more. It's putting more fuel to the current fire that we have, which is the inflation problem. So if inflation's not going to be solved very quickly, if food prices continue to move up, consumers are going to be affected. If there's a major recession, job losses are going to happen, right? And interest rates are going to continue to move up if inflation continues to move up. And Kashkari, which I did a video on in the US, a Fed member came out and said that, core inflation is not moving down lower. It doesn't look like it's peaking. And if it doesn't, they said they will continue to do another fresh round of raising rates next year. Which, again, the same thing. A lot of central banks around the world can do the same thing if these prices are not coming down. And this example, this article, is a very good example of why we can see continuation of higher food prices, because you're having more competition in an area, in the agriculture space, for, let's say, to utilize for biofuels. And on top of that, you have farmers already having problems and causing, having also problems which are pushing the prices higher. And imagine you have an energy company who's utilizing corn and a farmer who's utilizing corn for two different purposes, right? One, the energy company is utilizing corn for creating biofuels, right? The other farmer is out there utilizing corn to feed their, let's say, chickens, or so that you can go and get a chicken burger from McDonald's, because the farmer could feed the chicken to make it big enough, so that they can utilize in production down the road, right? So two different purposes. And if you've got more competition in the space, supply shortages happening, definitely the prices are going to move up. Definitely demand is still going to be elevated for food because you need to eat. Now you may substitute, instead of getting that chicken or that protein, you may go for beans maybe, right? And so on. So, and I brought this article here just to show that this is just a prime example of how, a decision like this can trickle into inflation continuing to be elevated, food prices continuing to be elevated. And we're already seeing it from the last CPI inflation report, where yes, food prices was elevated. Yes, rent and shelter, which are basically the essentials that a human being needs. They need somewhere to live. They need somewhere to eat. These are all essentials. If those essentials continue to move up in this tightening market, it will definitely pinch the consumer. So let me know what you guys think. Take a look at that article. Take a look at the video that I did on food shortages. Let me know if you think this is a good idea, if you think there's a better idea, if you think that this is only going to be temporary, and is there a way to handle this green movement a little bit better? Right? At the bottom of this article, I forgot to mention, there's a bullet point that says so basically in that interview, it says that it is looking to issue the company, when they say it is, right? So the company is looking to issue its first green bond next year as more attractive option in a rising interest rate environment, right? When I read that, it kind of bothers me a little bit, because you wonder that, okay, you're doing all of this for the green energy movement, and on top of that, you're looking to issue this energy company is looking to issue their first green bond next year. And they're going to do it at a very attractive yield because interest rates are high. And they're offering you a nice way where you can get involved in the green energy movement, right? So, okay, great. You're offering green energy movement. You're offering higher yield. It's a great buy, right? And you start to wonder that a company like this, are you really doing this in the sense that you're trying to really help and move in the green energy space? Or you're doing this because this is a fashion, like some companies may, I'm not saying all companies are doing this, but some companies may utilize to kind of take advantage of, to say, hey, we are green, right? We're moving the green movement. And now you're issuing a bond to raise money and saying that we've got two very good things. We're a green energy bond, and on top of that, we have a higher yield. So yes, buy our bond, give us the money so we could, you know, invest or do whatever we need to do. So it makes me think that, are you just taking advantage of the situation at the cost of, consumers seeing higher prices, higher inflation, so that you could get funding for your bond, for your company, so you can utilize as, for whatever reason? I don't know the answer. I'm not picking a side of yes or no, but it's just interesting and it's something to think about when you see a lot of these companies head into that area. Again, I'm not against green energy. I'm not saying that throw away the green energy movement. I'm not saying that don't do it. It's good for the environment. But I do question some of the companies out there, and I do question some of the ways that we are doing things, because it's going to eventually come back to the consumer at a higher cost. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment below, hit the like button, subscribe, and the bell icon to be notified on the next video. All right, I'll see you guys around. Thanks. Bye.